Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lunch and Learn. I'm going to give it just a few minutes for people to start joining in, and then we'll get started going through the usual beginning stuff. All right, welcome, welcome. My name is Jeremy. I will be leading our Lunch and Learn today from the training team. Happy to talk about everything we've got going on, and answer any questions that we have. I'll kind of go through the usual things, highlight things to check out, um, if anyone's got questions or things that they're looking for, and we can take a look at that stuff. And hopefully we'll have some more people in here and we can answer some questions, take a look at things like that. All right, we'll go through the usual things. First of all, we have our YouTube channel. Great place to check out if you're curious, learn about things that we have going on, anything maybe interesting for people or things that may be useful. Lots of great content out there. It's where we post our lunch and learns, all that kind of stuff. So definitely check out our YouTube channel. We've got the Solutions Marketplace, great place if you're curious about any aspects of decisions and want to check out some different applications that we've made available. So it's just marketplace.decisions.com. Lots of great things, our loan origination, playbook activity manager, and things like that. A lot of accelerators and things you can import into your decisions instance and see some cool stuff in there. So check that out. Then also at decisions.com/events, keep posted on what kind of events we got going on. At the moment, nothing crazy coming up, but we still do have our biweekly roadmap sessions. So definitely something worth checking out. I know I'm sure there's plans for future for potential updates for well, mine's blanking for a second. Other webinars. We often have webinars up in here. Um, we will also be eventually planning a Submerse event again coming up. We just finished one last week, but we'll probably be doing more. And I believe the next one will likely be um, more focused during the hours of the IST hours. So people on the other side of the world will be able to benefit more from that. But nothing set for those yet, but definitely check that out if you're curious. Um, Aside from that, that's all I have just to kind of highlight real quick. If we got any questions, I'm happy to answer anything if we just post things in the Q&A. And while we don't, I guess I can just kind of poke around a little bit, show off some things. Um, oh, actually, we do have a question. So Radley is raising your hand. I will let you talk. Go right ahead. What's your question?
Hey, Jeremy. Um, so I'm on 9.6, and I'm trying to find a way to track the usage of constants. Um, and from what the chatbot says is there's not a report that does that. I didn't know if there's any way to do any queries or sift through any sort of JSON that would tell me where constants are used. I just want to get your thoughts on
Are you
that.
referring to like system constants? Like, do
Correct.
you set up constants to
Or project
use?
constants, yeah, in
Yeah,
V9, yeah.
got it. Um, I immediately offhand, I do not know of anything that tracks those or where those actually get stored. If
Okay.
they, I mean, I don't know if anyone else on my team is on the call that might know more, but I've never actually worked with like storing them or calling them, I guess, other than just using them in a flow. I don't know if there's actually a way to track the usage of those. 1 second. Oh, being told that there might actually be. Okay, hang on. Let me check here. Under health. What are the mappings? There may be, I don't know how much of this would focus specifically on system constants or like project level constants, if that makes much of a difference here. I mean, there is technically this report that you can use to get like an idea of anything in your system that's using like these various mappings.
Okay.
No, I know like immediately, right? Like these are specifically like a constant, right? That I like have
Oh,
in my project that's like marked
yeah.
as constant. I don't know exactly if that's going to be any different than if I like set up something that's going to use like an actual project constant. Create this real quick and throw it in a flow. Ah, that makes sense. Just do like a next step or something. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Kirsten. Okay. Um, Kirsten just pointed out something to me. How exactly this report works. Let me open this back up now that I created something real quick that has it. So, if you're using system constants, right, obviously you would know what the constant values are. Uh,
Yeah.
so the way that it's going to get pulled for the mapping, what I searched for first wasn't going to work because I was obviously just looking at the type of constant. The actual mapping that's being used is the flow data mapping, right? So that line on the report, if this ever loads for me, that line on the report is going to be flow data, right? Because you're using flow data to get it, but then the value itself would match the value of your system constant.
Oh, I see.
So you
That
should be
makes
able
sense.
to actually look it up. And of course, now I clicked refresh right as it popped up. Murphy's Law right there. Um, but yeah, so the value itself is going to show like your actual constant. So then you should be able to see um, that like actual constant value there, and you can see all the places that it's being used. Not necessarily like a live value, but just like where, oh, of course I have a bunch of quick things here too. Um, but yeah, so it would be here, right? So you would have your select value input mapping would be like the actual mapping type in this spot. Um, but then you should be able to see like the value there for what you did. Um, and everything. But yeah, here like testing flow, there's my send email, and then there's my select value and split mapping. The value here is project constants, lunch and learn, because that was like, the mappings that I had to follow through, right? And then quick test is the actual constant. So if you, like, I think if I fully typed it in, I need a space, right? Then I should only see that because if I know exactly what my constant that I'm looking for is, and there's the details for that.
And do we know if this, so I do have what I call the system project where I have constant set and all my other projects are dependent on that one, right? So I recreated system projects from version 8 and prior. Um, does this report, is this scoped to just the project?
Yes, this is only going to be looking at this project.
Okay.
Like even if I had this dependent on other things,
Yeah.
this report is only reporting on this project. So I'd have to go to the other projects and actually view those. Like I think I even have a dependency in this one, to be honest, that wouldn't be appearing if I did have anything. But
Okay.
yeah, it again, yeah, this is a project specific report, so it is only reporting on this specific project. Yeah, like even if I had something in this other project here, I don't think I would see it in that report. I
Okay.
can test it real quick, but just since we don't have any other questions at the moment, but I'm fairly confident that you wouldn't. That's not migration. Load. Step data project constant global entities project. There's an example. Go back to my lunch and learn project mappings. Yeah, I have a constant in the other one, and if I search project constant, I'm not going to see it.
Okay.
The only way I'm going to be able to look at individual ones is by actually just individually going to those. Project building mappings here, and then I can see the mappings on this particular one.
Okay. I think that's enough
Do
to
that.
get me started. I appreciate that, Jeremy. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Okay. Well, if we have any other questions, I'm happy to go over anything. I know those fairly quick. I don't want to jump to end in right away. If anyone else has anything else we wanted to talk about. Right. Oops, I didn't click on that. Yeah, so I used to using the dog project for when I was teaching Summers last week. All right, give it just another minute in case we have something else pop up or someone else join in a little late. All right. Well, actually, maybe I'll do this just so that we have a chance in case anyone else joins. Let me just show briefly off. This is a training project that we did. So if you've been paying attention, which I know a few of you have for our last few lunch and learns all last week and everything, and the weeks before, we were kind of hyping up our new training project. So I led our Submerse event last week, and we got to show off this new training project, which is a pretty neat um, concept of just developing this idea of having a dog trainer system where you can track in a calendar a bunch of trainers and setting up training sessions to train dogs. And so we kind of created this neat little um, project that runs from here where a trainer could easily go and look at any of the trainers' calendar sessions, see the dog and the type of training that they have on a calendar, like in upcoming weeks and everything. We've got a dashboard that allows managers to view a bunch of the different dog trainers and all of the sessions that they have, as well as a contract file. It's a very dumbed down contract, but a contract file that they can actually look at to see the details of the training sessions and the contract that they would have with that user. They have the ability to add new dog groups to say, hey, let's say we've got a new trainer and this trainer is going to be able to start training dogs in the toy group, then they could easily do that. And it uses run flow selection. So we actually set up a folder of runtime flows that we can pick from, and that populates a truth table. So then when we run the main flow and we tell it which dogs are going to be going through training, it'll actually automatically sign the dogs up for sessions on the trainer's calendar. So all that's just done by saying how many sessions a user wants and what they want their start date to be. And then it populates all of the dogs down here for every single week, saying that they're going through some kind of like weekly training. So it was definitely pretty cool. A fun concept to build as the training team has a chance to discuss more about it. I'm sure we'll do some more things and build this up and maybe do a little bit more with it. But it was definitely a really fun project. Those that went seemed to enjoy it and got to learn a lot about decisions and some of the more unique elements like runtime selection. We did an external truth table that allowed us to actually populate details with ID values for the flows and things for the different dogs and make those kinds of connections. A pretty good mix of some of the rules and different types of flows and pages and things. So it was definitely a really interesting project. And hopefully as we get more chance to discuss, we'll be able to highlight this more or push it out in some of our trainings and things. As we built that just for Submerse, but we're always happy to, expand and do more with it. So just wanted to kind of show that off real quick. And it's definitely fun working with the calendar. I never got to work with the calendar until toying with this project for the Submerse event. So it was definitely pretty neat to figure out how to add sessions and set people up to place values on the calendar and everything through the reports. So that was definitely pretty neat. But if we've got no other questions, I don't always like to jump too quickly to ending early, but got nothing else. Oh, actually, hang on a second. Let me do this. Kirsten actually wants to show us something, so take it away.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Fine. Okay, cool. All right. I actually have a new feature that is coming out in 9.11. And this is for form designers. Here, let me find the right screen to share. Hold on. I was not ready for this, but I jumped it. Okay. You see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes. Cool. All right, thank you. All right, so on forms, we have a new feature we're calling attached labels. And that essentially is for any input control that you drag onto your form, it will come over with a label attached to it already. So if you have a text box, you drag it over, you get your data name. The quick add dialog is changing to allow for data name and label. As you type in your data name, the label will auto populate because typically those are the same. If you decide to change that, you very well can. On enter, you will automatically get a top label placement. Shift enter will change it to the left. And that's in a nutshell, in a nutcase, whatever you want to call it, that is the feature. Labels attached to input controls. And with that, you have all of the label properties that will now be available on the control itself. So you can show your label, or if you don't want it, you can get rid of it and change your row sizes to account for that. You can change your label text, label placement, all of the label configurations that we had on the old labels will be available here. You can change the gap in between your label and your control if you decide you want that to be bigger or smaller than what is out of the box. Label height, line height is helpful for when you have a text wrap. So if you have a really, really, really long label, you can change the line height. This is like the single spacing or double spacing, stuff like that. And then all of the the typical old label properties are there. So for every input control, I'll do a left label just to show. And then shift enter will push it to the left. It's a little tall right now because I adjusted my row sizes to account for top label placement. But you can do left, right, bottom. It's pretty interesting, and hopefully this will save on some design time, so you don't have to drag over multiple controls. And then also, like, as you're moving things around and adjusting your layouts, you don't have to move multiple things back and forth. You can just move one control and it stays together. So that's
really
it.
cool.
That's the one thing I wanted to show really quick. And this will be out in 9/11. So
That's really cool. I'm just kind of curious, do you
Yeah.
know for like when you use active form flows in like the current versions, right? And you're
Yeah.
like doing anything that grabs a control, you're gonna see like, the number box and then number box label. Does that
Mhm.
like let you make changes to the label through active form flows in other ways too?
Yeah, you should still have all active form capabilities with labels
Cool.
with these.
That's really cool.
Yeah, super fun. So hopefully it'll be really helpful.
So I know it's sometimes teaching mostly like brand new people with decisions. It's a little
Yeah.
slow trying to get them used to like how they add labels and the like shift enter ability to add a label automatically. And then if they're trying to follow you and they don't do that, and then they have to figure out how to add a label manually,
Yep.
it can get confusing. It's definitely for brand new people. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it's more efficient for those that know what they're doing.
Yeah. Hopefully this cuts down on that, like, back and forth. That happens a lot. So, and just so everybody is aware, I know there's the keyboard shortcuts that everybody is used to, like you just mentioned, like shift enter placed it to the top, I believe, and then shift control enter placed it to the left. So I can't type. Holy cow, keyboard shortcuts. Goodness. Okay, shift enter still works like that, but shift control enter also still places it to the left. So if you're used to that muscle memory with the left keyboard shortcut, shift control enter still works. It's just not written because we didn't have enough space to put all of the options there. So just a little note for that. And also, if you don't want to label, like I said, you can either toggle this off or just remove your label text entirely, and that works as well. So very neat.
Super cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Well, thanks for the questions. We're going to go ahead and we're going to close it off there. Let me just reshare my PowerPoint. And thank you all for joining today. We're going to close it off. We still got Gregory and Jared leading the rest of this week. So if you have any questions, please feel free to join and ask away. And we're always happy to help in whatever ways we can. But with that in mind, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you all next time.